Phonetics is one of the core fields of linguistics. In phonetics, we are concerned with the physical properties of speech sounds, concrete properties, which can be instrumentally analyzed, right? With the physical properties which can be instrumentally evaluated and investigated. That's the subject matter of phonetics. Right, in phonetics, we are concerned with the production of speech sound, that how sounds are produced, right? What processes are involved, and what measurements are taken, what measurements are applied, right? And then the transmission of speech sound, that how that sound, which is basically the disbursement of particles in the air, right? So how those particles are dispersed by how they are displaced by the pressure which is coming out of the oral or nasal cavity, right? So those are the physical properties, okay? So that transmission is studied within phonetics, and then the reception of speech sound, that how that sound is received by the human ear, and how the auditory processes are complete, and how the mechanism is working, right? So within phonetics, we are concerned with the studies, the description of many mechanisms, right? The concerns of phonetics are basically a few, like acoustics. Within acoustics, we are concerned with the physical properties of the sound wave, and there are examples like the fundamental frequency. What are the specific frequencies, right? So what is zero frequency of a specific sound, all right? And then pitch, right? Vibrations, okay? A vibration in larynx, and then harmonics and formants, right? Various formants. Specifically within the studies of vowel, we would be involved with the first three frequencies, F1, F2, and F3, right? So these measurements are very, very important, okay? That's the subject matter of phonetics, okay? Then amplitude, okay? And then various scales applied for the study of amplitude, and also duration, right? Duration in milliseconds, like how lengthy a sound is. So most of the time we are just studying sounds in terms of duration using milliseconds, all right? Like for example, the average sound of schwa is 60 to 70 milliseconds, right? And then loudness in terms of decibels, that how loud is a specific sound. So these are the properties which are studied within acoustics. And then we are also concerned within phonetics with articulation. Articulation, like how the vocal tract is working, right? How this apparatus is used by the speaker, right? The vocal tract, okay? So these are the topics which are studied within phonetics. Acoustic properties, and then articulation, the process of articulation, that how articulation is done, like what's the position of larynx, okay? And how it is vibrating. Then how is the human apparatus working for specific production of sounds. So these are the topics which are studied within phonetics. And phonetics is basically the basis for theoretical approaches for human speech sound, right? Like theories of sound production and their perception. Like theories of sound production, for example, that there are various theories through which the sound production is justified and that is described, right? Like the source filter theory, right? That's one theory through which the articulation it's like a tube from larynx to the lips. It's taken as like a tube, right? So that is studied within phonetics, and there are various theories which are described, okay? And same is the case with perception. There are various theories which also justify and explain the perception of human speech sound. So these theories are discussed within phonetics, and through phonetics, we are also basically focusing on speech universals, like how a universal frame of a syllable would be, like how a vowel would be taking the place of the nucleus, right? And how onset and coda would be taking place. So we are concerned with universals of the speech sound, right? And then there are so many implications which are also justified in the light of universals. And these universal approaches of speech sounds are discussed through phonetics.